So I kind of wanted to start, if it's okay, with the why behind Connect My Cause. About 2.5 to 4 years ago, I guess it's been now, my husband and I became empty nesters. And during that time, we became house parents at Goshen Valley Boys Ranch. And we lived with and took care of 35 boys in the foster care system. So as you can imagine, that forever changed my heart. The organization was a nonprofit called Goshen Valley Boys Ranch. And it was there that I realized how important it was for the community to support nonprofit organizations. And I truly saw the impact of the community when they came together to support this organization. So when it was time for us to leave the ranch and kind of pick up where we were and start our careers back, I wanted to use my background as a CPA to help the nonprofit sector. So in doing so, I created Connect My Cause. Originally, I wanted to just consult with nonprofits specifically, but while networking to build my client base, I realized there was a bigger need, and that was to remove the disconnect between businesses, nonprofits, and local community members that really wanted to help nonprofits, but they really weren't sure where to start or how they could help, or what they perceived as ways that they could help. In fact, were not really the only ways that they could help an organization. So again, I wanted to provide a solution to that and make it easier for people in the community to connect with nonprofits. There's over 50,000 charitable nonprofits in Florida alone. There's no central point of contact to actually go in and engage with these nonprofits. And so what I've done is I've created an online directory for nonprofits to list their profile. They can tell us where they are located, what services they provide, what type of events they have, what are their needs, basically. Anything that they need the community to know about them, they're able to list on the Connect My Cause site. It's a place where people can go and connect with these nonprofits. Some of those ways are community impact circles. Those are individuals that have come together and they've created volunteer type giving circles, and they support nonprofits in that way. And they can use Connect My Cause to go in, find nonprofits in their community, and figure out how they can support these organizations. Another way that we bring that disconnect, or remove that disconnect, is to help businesses find partnerships with these nonprofits by using cause marketing or other business sponsorship opportunities. We make it easier for those connections to happen through our matchmaking service, similar to what our previous speaker had mentioned. So we have matching services, and then we have your search on your own type services. Another issue that we wanted to resolve that is very important is the challenging reporting and compliance requirements that nonprofits have. They have some of the more challenging requirements, and a lot of times the nonprofit leadership team, they have a passion to make a difference in their community, but a lot of times they don't have that business background or the true knowledge of what it takes to run an organization, let alone what are the reporting and compliance requirements. So the way we solve that problem is we've provided a self-assessment for the nonprofits to take. So it's basically letting them know what areas that they should be at least knowledgeable about, and hopefully striving to be excellent in. So we provide the assessment, and then we go through and strategize with our experts on the platform, our consultants, our service providers, and then we match the nonprofits to these service providers based on the areas that they may be weak in. That way they can get the expert help they need without the time and difficulty of actually finding them on their own. again, we help them by bringing awareness first, because a lot of times, like I said, the nonprofits, they have the passion, but they don't always have that knowledge of what is required of us. So we bring awareness to them first, then we provide the assessment, and then we connect them with our advisors. So we strive to empower nonprofits, and we're giving them an online community and a marketplace to increase visibility, impact, and gain access to resources they need to fulfill their mission. Some of the things that I kind of wanted to share with you guys are what it looks like to connect. So examples of that would be college students that need internship positions, but they also want to make a difference in their community. Well, they can connect with nonprofits that are looking for interns. Then you have your high school students. A lot of the high school students that are applying for college, they need community service hours. Again, they can go to Connect My Calls and not only get those community service hours, but make a difference in their local community. Some other ways that people can connect: think about organizations that are kind of nationwide organizations like Tom's Shoes. They have a cause marketing campaign where if you buy a pair of Tom's shoes, they also donate a pair to a nonprofit organization. That's what we're trying to do, but on a local level for our smaller businesses, to be able to connect with these organizations and have a marketing strategy, combine that with the nonprofits in their community to help the business bring awareness to the nonprofit, but also hopefully widen their audience and their customer base by showing their customers that they care about their community and they're giving back. Some other examples is you think about families that want to kind of instill giving back to their kids. So they can go on as a family and look for events where they can attend events locally to support causes, whether that's a food drive or going out and distributing items to homeless people, or just attending an event that's going to raise money for a nonprofit. So our goal is just to really bring the sense of community back and allow people to make a difference in the process. The way we bring in revenue is it's subscription based. Nonprofits are $10 a month. However, right now, due to the coronavirus, we're actually allowing all nonprofits to be on the site at no charge for 1 year. This will allow them, again, to advertise to the public what are their needs, whether it's monetarily or volunteer, they're able to promote those. And then for vendors, those would be your organizations that are providing services or products to nonprofits, and they want to be able to connect to those nonprofits. It's basically a lead generation, and that is $50 per month, or they can pay by lead. Then your business sponsors. Those are the local businesses that are forming those partnerships where they're promoting both a nonprofit and their giving back efforts in their community. So that's a $75 biannual subscription rate. And then your general users are free. They can go on and create a profile so that they can save their favorites. If they have a favorite nonprofit, a favorite event, or resource that they want to, they don't want to have to keep going back and finding that, they can save it in their own profile at no charge. Our team, me, I'm the founder. I have a CPA background and just a huge heart to help the nonprofit sector. Donald Dowden, he's our advisor. He has a wealth of knowledge in the nonprofit sector. He's taken organizations from just startup, from startup all the way to national nonprofit chapters. And then we have Jolynn Dill. She's our communications and marketing director. And then we partner with a company to help us with our development piece. When I first started this endeavor, the first person that I walked through the demonstration with was Ted Granger, who was the president of the board of Florida United Way. And his remarks were that it was just phenomenal, great promise, and had value to our communities and nonprofit organizations. He said it's a real nugget. So that really inspired me to keep moving forward. There's been a lot of ups and downs as a startup business, especially in the tech and marketing world when I am a CPA. So it's been a challenge, and I refer back to that often when I get discouraged. So again, to thrive, our communities need nonprofits, and our nonprofits definitely need us, especially now during these very uncertain times. So I appreciate it, and I'm open to questions.
Right, looks great. If anyone has a question, please go into the participants, raise your hand. Excellent, we have Robin. Please answer or ask your question. There you go.
So I actually have two questions, Becky. Thank you so much for doing this. It's a wonderful idea. I wanted to ask first about the assessments and do you have a report card for any of these nonprofits? And the reason I ask is that there are a lot of nonprofits out there saying that they're doing what they're doing, especially in the veteran space. There are like 45,000 of them. Do you have any plans, or do you already do kind of a report card so that if I want to associate with a nonprofit, I could come to your site and get kind of the rating or the report card on that association or that nonprofit?
That is an excellent question. What we're doing right now is there are two kind of watchdogs that are known in the community of nonprofits, and that is Charity Navigator and GuideStar.
Yes.
So if nonprofits have already been rated by them, we're encouraging them to put their seal or their rating on their profile. If they have not, because smaller nonprofits aren't normally rated on those platforms. So we're using the assessment more for the nonprofit, but our goal is hopefully to be able to provide a badge for them once they've completed those steps. We don't really want to be known as a rater or, a rating system. But again, that is a big question for the community. So we want to be able to solve that. But again, that we don't want that to be our main focus. Our goal is to help the nonprofits strive for excellence, give them the tools to do that and reward them when they do.
Perfect. Perfect. Stay in your lane. That's all. And my second question is, I know we talked about this earlier, but what is your plan or your vision for taking this national and being able to connect nonprofits around the country?
Right. It's got the capability to do that now. Originally, I just wanted to start in Florida to be able to get some traction and just work out any type of kinks that there might be before I went to a national level. But that is the vision, is to go nationally. And I've actually opened it up to any state right now. It might not be quite as valuable because we don't have the users in all the states. Mm-hmm. But again, with everything that's going on, we wanted to be able to make sure that we can do what we can to help nonprofits get awareness out about their organizations.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Great questions. All right. We have a question from Jim Sparks. Please unmute yourself, and there you go.
Yeah, very interesting technology. Of course, I'm pretty heavy in the nonprofit sector, and one of the challenges I see is just lack of critical mass in a specific community in order to make a true impact. So like, how are you rolling this out community by community? Kind of the opposite of the national question.
Yeah.
Right. So that has been a challenge. It really has been a challenge. Originally, I had a strategy that I would reach out to all the United Ways because they're in pretty much every county. So the goal is to work alongside with them to help with the 211 system, in addition to populating our site and getting the word out. So that's still in the works, so to speak, but with everything going on, everything has slowed down. So I'm also now kind of pivoting to find other strategies to make that happen. And so there are community connectors that I'm hoping to basically be the hands and feet in the community, and they would be point of contacts for the nonprofits. So the nonprofits that come on board, they would be assigning a community connector, and that person is basically the person that gets the word out for them and helps keep their information accurate on the site, because we know nonprofits don't have a lot of time. They're focused on their mission. So if each nonprofit assigns a community connector, that will be kind of the go-to between the organization and us, and then us to the community. So any suggestions on how we can do better at that is very welcome.
Excellent question. All right, we have our next question from Brian. If you would unmute yourself, please.
Great presentation. I really enjoyed the slides and everything you had presented in that. So great job on that. And the mission is really important that you're working on. I know you touched on one of the areas as far as corporations and companies looking to partner up with nonprofits and connect. Another opportunity may be in the area of school kids needing community service hours, or some of the Scout programs needing credit and finding ways to find a best match for them. Have you thought about reaching out through any kind of volunteer community service, like school organizations or things like that?
Yes, I've actually, I've been in touch with a lot of local universities at the university level. So they're super excited and have invited me into their universities to present to their students. But as far as the high school level, I haven't really gotten a connection yet. I know there's so many students that are applying for college that need community service hours. So any suggestions on who that contact person would be within the schools, that would be helpful for me.
And Becky, I may have missed it, but Becky, where are you based out of?
I'm actually in Volusia County, Ormond Beach, Florida. I'm from Kentucky, which is the accent. So.
Oh, that's outstanding. I'm excited by this. Now we have another question from Marcia, and then we'll have one from Brianna. So Marcia, please unmute yourself.
Hey, Becky, it's Marcia.
Marcia.
Don't worry about it. So I've got three things. Number one, you were wondering how to maybe connect with high schools. I don't know if you've heard of international baccalaureate programs.
No.
Okay, IB programs or international baccalaureate programs, they're school programs that sometimes occur within a school but for a defined group of students. And so usually they're not just higher achieving, but they also, they have higher levels of civic involvement that they must attain. And it truly is an international program. So the program, the IB program in Hong Kong will be the same program that is here in Pensacola.
Okay.
So what that means is that these students, if they move to Germany or Czechoslovakia, when they say IB, it means they have the exact same curriculum. Number two, I'm a member of Impact 100. And just a little bit of bragging, but our Pensacola Bay group has the highest membership. We have about 1,100 members in our tiny little Pensacola community. What Impact does is each person donates $1,000, and collectively we determine what organizations who have applied, where we donate the money. And so you were looking for connectors. If there's an impact group, is Volusia Tallahassee?
No, Volusia, we have 100 Women Who Care here.
Okay.
So,
Where
it's Daytona, Ormond Beach.
So kind of Central Florida. Okay. Well, again, we're 1,000 women, and so we give out over $1 million.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. But being part of that group, or being part of 100 Women Who Cares, even if it's over 100, is going to make you a connector with the connectors.
Right. Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Are you familiar with 100 Who Care Alliance?
No.
Okay. So I've been in touch with that organization. They're basically the hub for organizations like yours throughout the world. So trying to coordinate with them as well. I didn't mention that earlier. I actually don't know why, but so yeah, that has been another way that I'm trying to get into these communities. So.
Well, a great way is to try to get involved with the community where you are, and all of a sudden you're going to have 100, or if it's now 200, they're basically the women, and it's only women, at least in our organization. These are women who are involved with nonprofits.
Right.
Okay. And then number 3, are you also going to be a clearinghouse, not just for donations or sponsorships, but also for volunteers with corporations? So you want the corporations to sponsor, but corporations may also say, hey, you know, and as a CPA, it also enables you to do their books or be involved with selling 401ks to them if you get licensed.
Right.
So,
Okay, so to answer that question, I really am focused more on enhancing what's already in your communities. So basically connecting these nonprofits and businesses to CPAs or marketing experts that can help them collaborate. So
how are you guys going to stay in business with the limited funds that you'll be getting?
well, one would be volume. You know, we definitely would have to depend on the volume at the rates that we're offering this at. So the businesses that are seeking to be hired by the nonprofits, or even to be able to provide wealth advising and things like that, they're the ones that will be bringing in the revenue, in addition to the organizations that want to advertise that they're partnering with these nonprofits. They'll be able to offer exclusive coupons or promotions to members of the community.
So advertising opportunities, in essence, advertising.
But in a different way, to where it's not annoying random advertisements, but basically for cause-minded people to go and be able to find ways to save, you know, save on like a buy one, give one, or buy one, get one, but also with businesses that are helping nonprofits within their community. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's wonderful. Great questions. All right, we have a question from Brianna. If you would please unmute yourself.
Sure. Hi there. I'm Bree Snellgrove, and I have a company called Social Icon, and we work with a lot of nonprofits with doing events and fundraising, and I think this is incredible. So congratulations on developing something that's really awesome. And so I have a couple of questions, and it kind of goes off of what Marcia was saying. And so have you kind of looked into other sources of income? So for example, there, with the resources that you're providing on the site, which I was kind of looking through it, there may be some opportunity in offering some courses for nonprofits that maybe are at a lower price point. And some of your supporters could be part of, you know, whether financial or some of these other resources, if they can involve themselves in coursework or trainings, that might be some sort of way to provide some other streams. But have you guys looked into other streams of income to help with the operations expenses?
Definitely, that is a big one. That's probably the biggest that we're looking into, and it's in our vision to do that as we get more vendors and nonprofits participating. Right now, our main focus is to populate the site. And then that will be a next step, will be adding those courses. And then in addition to that, there's some possibility of affiliate marketing or revenue, because if you look at the resource page, a lot of those resources are national brands. And as the site grows, then that's a wonderful platform for those organizations to be able to offer their services to these nonprofits. I'm just trying to make sure that I try to not have any conflict of interest, because if I'm offering services myself, then that kind of conflicts with the vendors on there. So I'm hoping that more of the vendors will offer their services and we can provide a matching service for them.
Right. I just wonder if some of the resources you provide, if it is a larger or a company that has a grand following or they're recognizable, if you're able to leverage that at all, by offering a couple of courses that may appeal to nonprofits. Because there's a couple of questions we usually get is, how do we do events? So if they're putting events onto this sort of site, those are some of the questions. They're kind of what you're talking about. A lot of them have a team, or maybe they have a small team, but they really don't know what they're doing outside of doing what they're best at, which is helping people.
Right.
You know, operating off of a very low budget. So, and then my second question is, as far as the tech of it, are there any plans with development in further making the site more accessible, or maybe even an app development? Is there plans for that sort of thing?
Definitely. I actually started out with a developer to create an app, but then quickly realized that was going to be very expensive. So we went with the website platform that's also mobile friendly. So as soon as we get traction, that is definitely in the works to make it user friendly. One, we definitely need to work on that, but then create the app. I think that having an app would make it, like you said, easier to access, and it would probably help get a little more traction. So that's definitely in the vision.
What is the platform that the site is built on, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a directory. So it's a directory platform. So basically, if you think of WordPress, which is what people use to do websites, it's a directory type platform.
Okay, so it's not proprietary?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, those are all my questions.
All right. Thank you.
Excellent questions, Bree. Thank you. We have a follow-up question from Marcia, please. Unmute yourself there, Marcia. Oh, let me see if I, there you go.
Thank you. Actually, it's a follow-up question from Brianna, who prompted me to think of this question. Becky, I sent you a private question on the chat, but it occurred to me by the time we wrap up, you may not have a chance to see it. I have a contact at the University of Indiana School of Philanthropy, and Jim knows who this is too, and I would love to introduce you to her because she is actively involved with their workshops and teaching around the country, and I'm sure you guys would have something to talk about.
Thank you. I would love that. Plus
Okay.
my hometown.
Oh, okay, great. That's a Brianna. Okay, so I will introduce you to Kathy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. And then let's see, I'm also going to email, or I'm going to chat and send my phone number so you can contact me directly. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll get off. Sam.
Hello, Becky. This is Brian. And the last question we have, I think you covered it in your last slide, but what can the community do for you to help you out with your business?
Well, you know, the feedback that you've given me is definitely a big asset right there, but also to connect me with those nonprofits. You know, if you know of nonprofits that are near and dear to you, get us in touch. And if you want to be a community connector for that nonprofit, that would be even better. That would be amazing for the nonprofit. And just spread the word. Give me any other feedback if you want to visit the site, and, you know, make a little list of this didn't make sense or I love this, so that I know going forward what kind of corrections I can make. I just want to keep, you know, improving the site. So that would be very helpful.
Thank you so much, Becky. That was wonderful.